So, you're wondering whether fasting while breastfeeding is safe? Well, the reason that you might be confused is that there are people in both camps. In this episode of Nourish, we'll discuss the risks of fasting while breastfeeding and how best to overcome them if fasting while breastfeeding is something that you really want to do. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome to Nourish. My name is Melanie McGrice and I'm a pre and postnatal dietitian. I help couples give their babies the best start possible with the power of good food. As a result, whether or not fasting while breastfeeding is safe is a question that I'm often asked by new mamas. The answer is not straightforward. Before fasting, every mama needs to weigh up her health, her bubba's health, the potential risks, and her motivation for fasting while breastfeeding, then decide what's right for her. Let's look at each of these considerations in more detail. Number 1, your health. Breastfeeding dehydrates us. The average mother loses around 700 millilitres or 24 ounces of fluid each day whilst breastfeeding. And you may not know this, but we actually get most of our fluid from food. Furthermore, when we fast, we significantly restrict our calorie intake, which often results in our body using up all of our carbohydrate stores from our liver and muscles. Our carbohydrate stores, or glycogen, as it's technically known, holds on to fluid. So for every gram of glycogen lost, we tend to lose 3 grams of fluid. Now, this is one of the reasons why we lose weight so quickly when we undertake strict diets and then put it on again just as quickly. It's just those fluid fluctuations. Between the fluid losses of breastfeeding and the fluid losses of fasting, fasting during breastfeeding can leave you dehydrated, even if you're drinking more water than ever. Dehydration can then cause a range of side effects such as constipation, headaches, and dizziness, to name just a few. There have also been reports of women who have ended up in hospital with severe ketoacidosis from fasting during breastfeeding, a condition that doesn't usually happen if you're not breastfeeding. If you do have low blood pressure, have lost a lot of weight, are overtired, and/or have a medical condition such as diabetes, it's wise to seriously weigh up whether fasting during breastfeeding is worth the risks on your health. Now, if you are going to fast though, make sure that you reduce physical activity, try to have extra fluids in the days leading up to and during your fast, and try to minimize excessive heat exposure that may exacerbate dehydration. Now, number 2, your bubba's health. Significantly reducing your calorie intake by fasting can reduce your milk supply. This may mean that you need to feed your baby more frequently during and after your fast so that your bub can meet their caloric needs for optimal growth. Additionally, some studies suggest that fasting during breastfeeding may impact the composition of your breast milk. If fasting during breastfeeding, monitor your baby's growth, poos, wheeze, mood, and energy levels. And if you notice any changes, make sure that you go immediately to a healthcare professional. And number 3, your motivation for fasting. Available research suggests that short-term fasting for medical or religious reasons is likely going to have less risks than longer-term fasting. Furthermore, fasting for a few hours each day is likely to have less risks than significantly slashing your calorie intake. If your goal is weight loss, consider other options to reduce your calorie intake, such as reducing portion sizes and choosing lower calorie foods, or even fasting for longer overnight instead of strict fasting diets. If you choose to fast for more than a day or so, please speak to your dietitian about which nutritional supplements you should take. Don't forget, there's never a more important time for optimizing your diet, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments box below, or reach out to my team so that we can help you. And make sure that you check out some of my other videos on topics such as 5 essential foods to eat while breastfeeding. I look forward to seeing you in my next video.